That's what people do. People glow. So, am I glowing? I don't know if I'm glowing. It's one of those things where I am not finding internet. I'm parked in front of the library, thinking like, oh, maybe there's internet I could pick up here, but the signal isn't strong enough. So I'm sort of sitting here eating a sugar cookie now. It's good. It's a good sugar cookie. Just staring at a car that just pulled in front of me. I'm eating my sugar cookie. So I just was back from the gym and then went to get some coffee. Um, mm, that's a good sugar cookie. Um, sorry. Um, yeah, that was a good sugar cookie. Speakeasy, Rutland, Vermont, coffee shop. Um, dedication. Is it dedication? Is it a form of dedication? But the fact that I go to the gym pretty regularly, um, I think is a dedication. I try to stick to an hour to 45 minutes. You know, yeah, 45 minutes, an hour, 45 minutes. Sometimes when I have like extra gumption, I go for an hour and 20. Um, I think once I've only done an hour 30. Um, I don't really know what was going on then. I think maybe I just started taking like those men's vitamins, those sort of energy boosters. So I think I probably was like on a caffeine kick or caffeine high. Um, but yeah, I think that only happened once where I did that. Gone to the gym with past partners. Enjoy that. There's something about going to the gym with your partner that I don't know. It feels normal as two two gay men going to the gym can be. How normal can that be? Um, but I go right. You know, I have these phases where I don't go to the gym, and either because it's the holidays or you know the gym is closed or I'm not feeling well or the weather is bad. And when I say I'm not feeling well, I mean like I'm not feeling well, like bathroom not feeling well. Um, you know, my as much as I don't mind using the the, the bathroom in the gym, I still don't want to be sick in the public bathroom. um, so I've always gone to the gym, and so it became part of my routine. And now some days when I'm going away, more often than not, most days when I'm going away, I start thinking about like, or maybe I could do like an extra day of going to the gym, right? Like maybe, if if my regular schedule, some months it varies, but I try to stick to um, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then like do light stuff on the weekends. Um, Sometimes it doesn't work that way. Sometimes it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or like a Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And and then the days that I do find myself going away, like I'm, going to go visit my folks in New Jersey, or I'm going to go visit my sister in Montreal, or I'm making a trip down to Maryland, and so I think about, oh, like if I'm gonna hit the road on Friday, and I know I won't be back until like maybe like Monday, um, um, maybe I'll go to the gym 3 days in a row, right? Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and maybe Thursday. Um, Probably definitely Thursday. If I'm gonna like not be in the gym for the weekend. Um, I remembered a time when um, I really had to motivate myself to go to the gym. I really had to push myself to go to the gym. Um, and it doesn't feel that hard. Yeah, there are some days um, where I'm like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, but those days are few, very few. Especially, I get extra motivated when I'm like stalking some muscular bodybuilder or modeled person who has a great body, and they're showing their chest, and usually that gets me motivated, being like, oh, I that looks good, and I want to look like that, and I want people to look at me lustfully, the way that I look at these sort of swimmer build, muscular bear kind of daddy got kind of guys. um but I go. I go. Um, it started when I was living in Bennington. I started going to the rec center, to the pool. Um, and sort of same thing, probably mostly on the weekends. I don't think I went during the week, those early days. Um, of starting to work out. Um, and then I just remembered one day somebody commenting on my shoulders, how nice they looked, how defined they looked. Um, and at the time, I think I was going to the pool to move, to because swimming is I I believe in, I I don't know who would argue um, that swimming is it's probably a full body workout, and it's probably one of the best workouts that you could add to your regimen, to your schedule. And if you can't, like, that's fine too, because not everybody is privileged enough to be able to live in an area or town where there's a pool, or even have access to that. Um, so I swam, and then some older gentleman noticed my shoulders, and then it dawned on me that, and I think by this point I probably was probably going to the pool consistently um, every weekend, if not most weekends, um, and probably sporadically some days after work, or when I took time off, I would go to the pool. And he noticed my shoulders, and I don't think I even noticed the gradual change in the definition of my shoulders, and I was sort of hooked from that point on, and it I kept on swimming, and then I think I also started going to yoga, or going to yoga more often, probably after work. Probably swimming during the weekend, and yoga during the middle of the week. I think like most things, I probably started off like one class a night during the week, and then I think I probably moved to two classes a night, and then I really got into yoga. Yoga was like the gateway to a part of myself that I didn't know that I was neglecting. A physical part of myself. Yeah, I was swimming, and yeah, I was sort of lightly lifting weights, but mostly swimming in those early years, and I would probably say like this is 2005. Yeah, 05 maybe. And we're currently in 25, and just a couple of days away from 26. So yeah, yoga became the next thing, and I think at some point, I want to say, I started going to the pool less and doing yoga more. Still doing the two classes a week, but also every morning doing a practice. Every morning in those early years, like if I started swimming in 05, probably the middle of 06, end of 06, beginning of 07, I probably started getting into yoga. And then I was like, oh, maybe I could become a yoga instructor, or I just have to get my hours. I was never able to get myself together enough to do that, and two, everything around here would be an hour away from me for a yoga school. I happen not to live in a town where there's a yoga school where I could actually get my certification hours. And so I did that for years, and then I got into tantra, which blew my mind because that introduced me into Kegel exercises. Love me some Kegel exercises. Doing it right now, actually, as I speak. And that was a fascinating journey. The chakras and sort of the energy part of cultivating your sexual energy in a way to enhance your practice and to open up yourself in so many different ways. It was addicting. It was really addicting. and I stuck to that for for a minute. I want to say for a minute. And even when I moved to Rutland, I think I moved to Rutland in '08. I moved to Rutland in '08. I feel like I want to revise the start date of when I started doing yoga. I think it must have been much earlier than '05. Now that I'm thinking about it, since I moved to Rutland in '08. Anyway, those particular details you don't really need to know. But Tantra yoga, if you haven't done it, um, you are really missing out. Kegel exercises, the ability to breathe in a way that like fills you up, is at best orgasmic, at worst, it triggers trauma. Because you're tapping into your body, and I remember maybe one intense practice, yoga practice. I think I must have been going for at least an hour by this point, and I think I was in the lotus position because I think I was winding down, and then I believe I was trying to move the energy from my root chakra all the way up through the various other chakras, into my crown. And I can't remember where specifically it hit me. If it was sort of like in the solar plex, the stomach, the chakra that's in the stomach. I can't remember if that's where it happened, or if it was in my heart chest, my heart chakra, or my head chakra. Anyway, it was out of those three options. I started crying. I mean, like bawling like a baby, crying. I mean, like at one point I literally had to hunch over, and I was in the lotus position, like hunch over, just crying and crying and crying. And let me tell you, that the moving of the energy, after that sort of intense session, I think unlocked something in me, and I bawled. And I want to say that probably happened 2 other times. I would say probably both times also in the lotus position that happened. I would have to say, yeah. And I still kept on going. I still kept on practicing, and reading various texts. And then I think at some point, the Eastern Indian sutra, and then I tried mixing it with Chinese Tao. I want to say it's the Tao, or the Yin Yang. Yeah, let's say you probably should not be mixing different energetic philosophies and practices, and not know what you're doing. I fucked something up, sort of energetically, and and I think I'm just now sort of repairing it to the best of my of my untutored, self-guided ability. So that is a thing that's interesting, how energetically something could shift so much that it really throws you for a loop, and it manifests in physical ways. Um, and I'm being vague. If you haven't picked that up, I'm being vague about the specific issue that arose when I tried mixing Chinese and Indian philosophies or spiritual practices or energetic practices together. Don't do that. And so I sort of stopped doing that. And then I think I got into lifting weights. And again, like each time, it's the consistency of showing up, either showing up on the yoga mat or showing up in the pool or showing up in the gym. It's consistently showing up. Yeah. And then you integrate it into your life. You find ways where it makes sense. Where yeah, at first it is gonna be a heavy lift, specifically if you didn't grow up or were indoctrinated into that sort of pace of life. If you weren't part of a sports team, you probably never saw the inside of a gym, minus that what you saw on bulletin boards or movies. But you consistently go, you do something, you just show up. But the showing up requires integration for me, right? Like for me, and I think other people will agree or disagree, but early in the morning, specifically during the week, I don't want to wake up early to go to the gym, right? So I've made it work where I go to the gym after work, and that was a heavy lift, specifically during the winter months, where there were some days I didn't go to the gym, but then I would find something covertly to motivate me, and it didn't work all the time, but it was mostly lusting after other bodies, other male bodies. But I am grateful, because I had to turn off the switch that said that I'm going to the gym for competition, right? Like I had to be like, I'm going to the gym to be healthy. I'm going to the gym because my job, I do a lot of sitting in my job, and I'm not a very active person to begin with, right? Like it's great if I go on a hike. It's even better if I go camping, right? But I didn't grow up with that. I really had to sort of teach myself how to camp, how to properly prepare for a hike, if I'm gonna do an all-day hike, right? Like it's good to bring water and maybe some snacks, but like if you don't have proper footwear, that also becomes an issue. So I think that I integrated it into my life where it became part of my routine. And I didn't have to think about it too much. I come home from work, and if it's my day, I probably will eat first if I haven't already picked something up, um, or if I hadn't eaten something really big earlier that day. Um, and then I plop on my gym clothes and I head over to the gym. But the practice of any kind that you want to do isn't easy. And if you are not integrated into your life where it makes sense, like if you're not a morning person, don't do it in the morning. And I'm specifically talking about the gym. This could be for other things, writing or crocheting or artwork or writing your thesis. And it goes back to what I've always been saying is like there is a flow to life, just like there's the seasons, right? The moving of the clouds and the seasons, the weather, right? Like there is a flow. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it, but there is a flow. And so that's what you got to do. You have to sort of integrate yourself into the flow of your life. Paying attention to like where you have the most energy compared to where you have the least energy, because where you have the most energy is probably where you're a little bit more motivated to engage in that activity. And then at some point when you have low energy, you still have to sort of say to yourself, why do I do this? And if you can't come up with good reasons, odds are you probably won't do it. You could also come up with superficial reasons, because that's how I started, with very superficial reasons of going to the gym. And to be fair to myself, I would imagine that most people go to the gym to look good for other people. And then there's a sprinkle of folks who actually go to the gym where it's a health issue, because they have to take care of their health, because if they don't, then they're basically effed. And then I stick to it. I'm getting older, so the reasons of why I go to the gym has changed. As I get older, I realized there may be health risk or health concerns related to aging. And so now I go to the gym mostly to stay on top of that, to stay active, to move, to build muscle in a slow way, and not necessarily to build muscle for show, which yes, I want muscle for show. And this past summer I was at the beach and someone complimented me on my body, and I didn't even think I was like even in my best shape this summer. Anyway, okay folks, the practice of a hobby, the practice of a new task has to make sense for you. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then you have to workshop it, rework it in a different way. And to discover if that is what you want. And then there's also a level of just do it, like not thinking so much about it, not thinking too much about the ins and outs, the perfectionism part of it. Not perfection. That's always going to be a thing for me. Anyway, be kind to yourselves, folks.